Hi, this is Gwen Foster. I want to talk about homeopathy in general and talk about some things that I have on hand in my house that I really recommend that you have as like a first aid survival situation. I do go to these probably monthly for my own needs or for my pet needs. Lately, I've been using them more than usual. I bought these kits from Washington Homeopathics, and their website is homeopathyworks.com. And it's the top 100 remedies of 200C potency, and then I have another one of 30C potency. And there are things in there that most people have heard of that are into natural medicine, like aconite and arnica and hypericum, which are really for injuries. But there's also some other ones that are less known in there that can come up, like poison ivy or poison oak or hives or different reactions like that, like skin reactions and things like that. But I want to tell a story that has happened to me recently. I also have the smaller kits, which are nice to have as well. They're less expensive. One's the urgent care kit, and the other one is the animal rescue kit. The thing I like about the animal rescue kit is it talks about also the condition with which remedy to use for that particular condition. And I'm going to tell a story about my dog Eddie and also me of why I've needed these remedies in the last 2 weeks. So Eddie's 15, and he recently had an issue where, like, all of a sudden he was having like a discharge from his eye. His his right eye, it seemed to go blind like overnight. Like he wasn't using the eye, he wasn't trying to use the eye. He was having asthmatic symptoms. He was choking. He couldn't breathe. It was like, if you ask me, it was pneumonia is what I think it was going on with him. I also had gotten sick right about that time, but I was in the middle of a liver cleanse, so I wasn't quite sure for me if I was actually sick or if it was from the liver cleanse and just feeling, kind of yuck like I do sometimes when I do a liver cleanse. But anyway, the top remedy that showed up for him, though, was aconite. And aconite is a remedy that for homeopaths is usually used for shock or trauma. And I didn't know of any shock or trauma that he had, but all the symptoms when I looked online fit. It actually even said it's the premier remedy for sudden blindness and eye issues and asthma and bronchitis and pleurisy and pneumonia. And I mean, it was like over the weekend, I was like kind of flipping out, and I started giving him aconite. And I was also putting a few drops of CBD. He was also tremoring. He was kind of giving me a blank stare. At one point, he collapsed. So it was a pretty serious situation. But having the remedies at home helped me with the situation and dealing with something that I could do, especially to keep him calm and to be supportive of him. And Lindsay and I were looking at him today, and his eye looks clear. He looks like he's using it again. And I'm talking about, he was not. Like, if I wish I had kind of had pictures of before and after, because if you could have seen his eye last week and his eye now, it's night and day. I should get Lindsay over here to give her testimony, because she's one of the people that said, what's wrong with his eye? So anyway, and I could tell he wasn't using it, and if I even touched it or tried to put drops in it, he didn't even care. It was almost like it was dead to him. So it was very weird. And then I had an injury where my own analysis of my injury is a torn meniscus, and I was like, in certain positions, my knee would hurt, especially like being on all fours on the ground, like playing with my grandchildren or taking care of my dog. And I'm pretty sure it happened because of doing Zumba. And anyway, it was a stupid injury. And I decided, after being in particular pain one night last week, where the pain was enough that I couldn't sleep, and I was like, what is going on? Like, torn meniscus is usually something that you need to have, like orthopedic surgery, and they just cut off the little piece that's torn of the meniscus. And I just happened to look up on homeopathy, found the remedy for that from a person who wrote in a journal about knee issues. And the homeopathic is for the herb of bone set. And bone set has this very interesting description that it will take pieces. I know this sounds weird and gross, but Bone set will take actually pieces of bone or meat and stick them back together. Like, it's a really weird description. But if you think of or look online what a torn meniscus is, it's like a circular thing and one part has come out, like it's splintered and it's sticking out, like, and it's digging into your meat of your muscle or your knee or wherever you have this. And if you think about what bone set does, it adheres that muscle and bone back together again. And so I just thought, well, I'll try it. That sounds pretty crazy, but I'll try it because I'll try anything. I took the remedy and I also put some of my CBD transdermal cream between my wrist. Within, I would say, 5 to 10 minutes, this pain that was keeping me awake was totally gone. I totally slept great. I got up the next morning and had zero discomfort in my pain at all. Like, haven't done it again since then. I went to Zumba yesterday and had, a great workout. It was like, almost like nothing was wrong. Now this was like 2-3 weeks ago. I couldn't put my knee a certain way, couldn't get down on the ground easily and lift myself back up from that knee because it was very tender. So sometimes if you just, it's so important to know how to help yourself. It's so important to know how to fix yourself. It's so important to be able to have remedies at home in acute situations, whether it might be food poisoning or an injury, or you stepped on a nail, or you don't know how many times I've twisted my ankle or hurt my foot or knee where arnica has been my friend. You just have no idea. Sometimes like 3 times a year, I have a major injury from just being active, and arnica has saved me from a ruined vacation or hiking or whatever. So I highly recommend to my clients that you have a homeopathic kit at home, because sometimes people call me and they say, well, what can I take for this? What can I do for this? Well, one thing is to get the information. The other one is to have the solution, because homeopathic remedies are not something that you can, well, a few of them you can get at like Whole Foods or a health food store, but you're not going to find a big selection. You might find like the top 12 or top 10 or something like that. So it is nice to have a kit at home, so that if you had the flu, or if you had whooping cough, or if you had something like that, that you actually have a solution on hand that you can give to your pets, your kids, or you can take yourself. Okay, so I just wanted to share that because these have been a lifesaver for me recently, and they continue to be, but I don't always think about them because usually they're in a drawer and they're not out because it's kind of my own personal stash. But I wanted to let you know about them. And there's also reference books. You can get books on homeopathy, first aid books on homeopathy, homeopathy care for cats and dogs, and these are good references to have at home if you want to take that responsibility to be able to take care of your family. All right, thanks for watching.